Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Esky channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. And what you see here is the Esky 150 EC scale helicopter. So it is an RC helicopter, flyable obviously, but it wouldn't look out of place on a shelf either. It looks pretty nice in my humble opinion. So in this video I'm gonna, tell you what you get for your money. This helicopter and some other stuff obviously. And I'm gonna show you what it flies like. And I'm gonna tell you what I like about this Esky helicopter. What is not so great about the helicopter. Obviously it isn't perfect. And whether you should buy it or not. Maybe it's too expensive, maybe it's, too cheap. Okay. So if you click this video hoping to get confirmation to get this helicopter, you've come to the right place. I'll tell you whether you should get this helicopter or not. Let's get into it. Here we go.
You serious?
So guys, the Esky 150 EC. I'm not sure what the EC stands for, it doesn't really matter of course, but that's its name. And it is a small and scale RC helicopter. And how big or small is it? Well, for reference, here's my hand. It's actually almost the same size as my hand. Yeah. And it's a two-bladed helicopter. It is barless, meaning there's no extra bar on top over here to balance things out. It has a separate tail motor over here. It is brushed. Both the tail motor over here and the main motor are brushed. It flies on a 1S LiPo, which is included with the helicopter. It comes with a charger, a radio and a manual and some spare bits. But let me actually show you the box first. There you go, one box, 150 EC from Esky. RTF, it is almost RTF. Yeah, the only thing you need to buy extra are 4 AA's for the transmitter. Other than that, it is indeed RTF. Ultra micro heli, it is pretty small. In fact, this picture here shows you that it's almost the size of a hand with altitude hold. Well, I haven't found it to have altitude hold really. No, no, that's a stretch. Maybe it helps you a little bit in keeping altitude, but even that's a stretch. Nevertheless, the helicopter is a beginner-friendly helicopter, I'd say. It's pretty easy to fly. Okay, and the box also shows you what you get for your money. Other than that, it's a reasonably nice-looking box, but yeah, okay. Then you obviously get the helicopter itself in that box. You get a manual, user manual in English. In fact, I've helped Esky a little bit with the English in this manual, so that it isn't as much Chinglish as it was before. However, also I have not looked in the manual at all. After you've watched this here video, you won't need the manual. Yeah, it's that simple to fly. You get a couple of spare parts, main blades, 2 main blades. A screwdriver that screwdriver is needed to replace the blades, basically. They are held in with screws. And I've crashed the helicopter numerous times, by the way. And blades are still looking like new. It's a very light helicopter, right? So yeah, you won't damage it very easily. And I have also crashed it on tarmac and tiles and such, on hard surfaces. Okay, you also get, this won't show up easily, but this is a spare tail rotor, right? Okay. Then you get one LiPo, which is a 150 milliamp hour 1S LiPo. Yeah, it's a LiPo. LiPo battery. Yeah, so you can order this package with 1, 2 or 3 LiPos, and I would suggest getting it with one more at least. So 2 or 3 LiPos. See, charging time is a little long, as is usual with these kinds of lipos, right? And this here is the charger that's supplied. Now the nice thing with this charger is that it's super easy, simple, so it's you won't be making mistakes. Well, in fact, this is everything you need to remember. There's a connector over here, and you simply stick the lipo into that connector like so, right? And then the charger has, well, a USB plug, USB-A. You stick it into, for instance, your computer, and then it'll show a red LED while it's charging, and when it's charged it'll show a green LED. That's it. That's everything that's involved in the charging bit of this setup. So super duper easy, which is nice. Anybody can do it. To insert that battery into the helicopter, so the helicopter obviously has a canopy, which is made out of Lexan. Yeah, probably Lexan. And you simply lift, put your finger in one of the windows and lift that part of the canopy out a little bit to clear this here screw. Hopefully you can see that black screw. So pull it out a little bit, like so, and then you can rotate the canopy off of the body of the helicopter. Then over here you see a plug, a counter plug for the battery. You stick the battery in that. You should start your remote first, by the way. But that's everything. And then you slide on the canopy back, so click, click. Super easy. In fact, this is the easiest canopy I've ever seen on an RC helicopter. Super duper easy to put on and pull off, right? If you've been into RC helicopters, you know that this is pretty damn easy. Okay, and once you're done, you simply pull off the battery again. There's no on-off switch, by the way, but this plug in, plug out procedure being as easy as it is, right, I would have liked an on-off switch, but it's not the end of the world. This works pretty nicely. Okay, the last thing you get for your money is a radio. Voila! A 2.4 gigahertz radio. 2.4 gigahertz. Yeah, and it's a no frills radio, but yeah, also it doesn't have a lot of features. It has 1, 2, 3 switches. This is the on-off switch over here. Beep. There you go. And it's you can't switch the radio on or off by accident. You'll have to depress that button for a couple of seconds, so that's nice. Then you've got a switch over here for your rates, low and high rates. And over here is your arming switch, which is counterintuitive. Yeah, it has a red and a green dot. Now you'd think, well, green is probably safe, so disarmed. And red is danger, armed. No, it's the other way around. So that's definitely, I'd say, a mistake. Yeah. Okay, so this isn't a dangerous helicopter by any means. It's light and there's not a whole lot of power to it. The blades are flexible, not very hard and not very sharp. So again, it's not dangerous at all. If you fly this helicopter into yourself, no problem at all. But still, this doesn't really make sense to me. And better yet, if you got this switch towards yourself, it's disarmed. And that's also the other way around from what I'd expect. Oh well. Okay, apart from that, it has digital trims, which you shouldn't need much at all. Maybe at some point if you've scuffed off the blades, or if it's damaged in another way, I'm not sure, but I haven't felt the need to use these trim switches. Okay, what more can I tell you about the operation of this helicopter? Yeah, so you switch on the remote, you put it in disarmed, like so, with the red dot. Then you take off the canopy, plug in the battery, replace the canopy, and then arm it. And well, then the rotor will start spinning, and then push up the throttle to take off. That's everything basically. Also, the helicopter has a safety feature. If you crash it, it'll automatically disarm. Not instantly, but after approximately 1 to 2 seconds. If it senses that the rotor is obstructed, it'll disarm, and you'll have to cycle this switch to then rearm it after you've set it down again. So that's nice. That's a nice safety feature. In my flight footage, which will come up in a minute, you will see that it's not a super duper fast helicopter. That makes it beginner friendly, I'd say. The entire setup with this charging setup being safe and easy, the radio not having no frills. The entire setup is beginner friendly in my humble opinion. But the downside of that, of course, is that eventually you'll outgrow this helicopter. Goes for a lot of beginner helicopters, obviously. Something else I should mention, in case it wasn't obviously already, this is not a 3D capable helicopter, so it cannot fly inverted, upside down, or do TikToks and such. That's not what this helicopter is for. It's a nice scale looking helicopter, and it is beginner friendly. With that all said, you've seen what comes with the helicopter, and you've heard me blah about it. Let's actually see what it flies like. Right? This flight demonstration will actually contain a crash, and it's also with a little bit too much wind. But that makes it a nice test, I think. And yeah, I also have a bonus flight, which I will link to in the description down below. That was a flight without wind, in case you're wondering what that's like. But this flight here is with a little bit too much wind. But let's see what that's like. Here we go.
Alrighty guys, so here we are at a soccer field, as you can tell, for a test flight with the Esky 150 EC helicopter, scale sports helicopter, non-3D helicopter. And there is a little bit of a wind, maybe you can see that from the flags over there. I'd say it's 1 Beaufort with gusts up to 2 Beaufort. And that's exactly the limit of what this helicopter can handle, in my humble opinion, of course. But it's a light helicopter with some surface because of that scale canopy. 2 Beaufort, yeah, you'll be struggling a little bit. So about the radio, there's one thing I need to tell you about this radio. It's a little bit counterintuitive to arm it. I've have this switch on the red dot over here, and you'd think that's danger, so armed is red and green is disarmed. No, it's the other way around. So that's counterintuitive. Yeah, and I kind of only fly the helicopter in high rates, and that's the only switches, right? Well, there's an on-off switch for the radio. Okay, that's it. Let's see if we can get this helicopter, the Esky 150 EC, flying. Here we go. Alright guys, remember, this is the upper limit of wind conditions that this helicopter really likes. So I will be struggling to fly it. But it's definitely possible with this wind. Hopefully you'll be able to follow, keep track of the helicopter. But I now also have a tail wiggle. As you could hopefully see, tail wiggle. And that basically only shows up in windier conditions. And so let me show you the maximum speed. That's the maximum speed, which is basically quite alright. Maybe, yeah, that was with the wind. Yeah, okay, sorry, that was with the wind. But still reasonable. And that was a massive crash. And so I guess we have now crash tested the helicopter as well. Yeah, okay, so that's a good thing to see if it can handle a good amount of crashing. That was definitely the hardest crash. Well, on a stone, on a hard surface it would be harder, but still this was at its top speed straight into the ground. It's fine. And yeah, again, hopefully you'll be able to see it well enough, this small little helicopter. Yeah, maximum bank angles. The maximum bank angle isn't all that steep, as you can hopefully see. It's okay, but it's not all that steep. Maximum pitch angle is a little bit more, but also not enormous. And again, I am flying the helicopter at high rates. At low rates, I wouldn't have the authority to fly it in this wind. And even with high rates, I am struggling, as you can sometimes see. Climb rate and descent rate. Yeah, it's a helicopter and a scale helicopter at that. It's a 1S helicopter, so the climb rate is never super duper fast. And in my mind it shouldn't be. This is a scale sports helicopter. It's not a 3D helicopter. It shouldn't be blisteringly fast. And this is what the wind does with the helicopter. So sometimes the wind gets under the rotor blades, I guess, under the dish of the rotor blades, and then the helicopter gets swept up. That's me. That wasn't a wind gust. That's just me applying too much throttle. I must say this is approximately the 5th flight with the helicopter. I have enjoyed flying this helicopter. Especially if you haven't flown a helicopter for a while, this is a great helicopter to get back into things. And doing coordinated turns with it, very much possible, and it's a great aid in teaching yourself to make coordinated turns. Now, today I am hampered in that because of the wind, but it's reasonably forgiving. And it looks nice doing so. Okay, so I have no idea how long I've been flying for. The flight time is approximately 6 minutes. And you will definitely sense when the end of the flight is near, because the power will tail off gradually. It won't suddenly lose out power altogether, but you'll see that it'll need a little bit more throttle to stay aloft. And that gets worse and worse, and you can, well, in this weather, in this direct hard sunlight, it's practically impossible to see the green LED. Is it? Well, no, actually, if once I pass myself, I can look into the canopy and see the green LED. And once that green LED starts blinking, you need to definitely land. But again, you'll sense that the end is near before that. Yeah, so it's not super duper fast, but it does lend you a great tool to teach helicopter flying, in my humble opinion. And in a little bit of wind, definitely. So you don't need zero wind to fly this helicopter. Oh, and now I need to apply a lot of throttle to get it back. So this was the end of this here flight. Oops, missed it. Okay. So hopefully you got a sense of the flying characteristics of this Esky 150 EC. Let's get back to the studio and then I'll give you my closing thoughts on this helicopter.
So guys, the almost ready to fly Esky 150 EC, small, scale looking, beginner friendly helicopter. You've seen it up close a couple of times in this video. What do you think of the looks? I think, in my humble opinion, it looks pretty nice, and it is a beginner friendly helicopter. It is also not super duper expensive, and the downsides of all that is that it's not super duper powerful. It doesn't have a brushless motor in the tail or even adjustable tail blades. If it would have had, it might not have had the tail waggle. But in this scale, that's almost impossible, at least at this price. If you can justify the price, I think it would have been nice for €100 to get 2 batteries. At €100 with 2 batteries, it would be definitely recommended, in my humble opinion. So in the description of this video you'll find 2 links, one to the helicopter itself, and that link leads you to Banggood, and the second link is to my bonus if you will, flight, and that's a flight without wind. And that's it. Hopefully this video helps you out. If you have left your questions, don't hesitate to ask in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you on the next video. Bye bye.